Tessie completed her ADOS, and of course she qualified. I was wrong about the scoring. Tessie and I are here at her ADOS. You hear her talking back there. This is probably not your typical ADOS video. For anyone new here, Tessie already has the diagnosis of autism. She was diagnosed when she was 18 months old. We have known for a while. She is now 3.5 years old, but our insurance requires that she be reassessed yearly. So she has had a lot of ADOSs at this point, also because she was in some studies when she was littler and they did ADOSs too. Well, this is definitely not our first rodeo. We also have 2 older daughters who are autistic. I think at this point I've been in the room for about 20 ADOSs. Today Tessie is 3 years old and she is having an ADOS. We are extremely confident that they are going to reconfirm her diagnosis of autism. Tessie is 3. She doesn't have a lot of words yet. I don't call her nonverbal because she has some words. She is able to communicate really well, both with the PECS board, by grabbing our hands and taking us places, not with her words yet. She has a few words like mama. Oh, lately she's been meowing like a cat, but she doesn't have a lot of words yet. Late speech is pretty common in our family, but thankfully she is able to communicate a lot with us at this point in time. Here we go. ADOS number, I don't even know how many, but her 3-year-old ADOS. I can't film during the ADOS, but she's ready to go. There will definitely be some clips though while we're in there when I get a chance. Usually, at least. Usually I get some of her like playing when I have a chance. So here we go. Let's see how it goes and I'll let you know afterwards. I never see this. Are you doing your... I get to see you look in the mirror. You saw yourself in the mirror, huh? Oh, can you get it? What are you saying? You played with all your toys, huh? What do you want to play with? Can you do it? Here, look, let me show you. You twist this part right here. Right there. It's kind of tricky. You still have the snack cup in your mouth. Tessie completed her ADOS and of course she qualified. I was wrong about the scoring because this time when I asked for the score, they said that she scored a 19. I thought it was on a 1 to 10 scale like it is for Maggie. Usually what I get told is either 10 or that they scored at the very top of the scale. So I have no idea where 19 lands on that scale. For Tessie it was the ADOS 2. It's the ADOS for preschoolers who don't have a lot of language. It's the ADOS that has the birthday party. It is the ADOS with the snack, with the goldfish and the crackers and the apple juice. It's the ADOS that has the bubbles and the little electronic toy. In this case, it was a dog that was hidden under a blanket. What I want to do now is I want to talk about it a little bit more, what the test is like for parents who are gearing up to take a child to an ADOS. Between all of our kids, I've been through this more than 20 times at this point, which puts me in a good position, at least from a parent's point of view, to speaking about what it is like. What they usually do during an ADOS test, which is the test that is usually given, at least in the US, for kids who are suspected as being autistic. Our experience with the girls is that we usually go into the test and I sit down. I have always been in the room with our little kids. I think the only testing I haven't been in on was Sadie's test as an 11-year-old. She went in and I was in the waiting room for that. But with Maggie and Tessie, I have always been there for all of their ADOS tests, which is helpful because usually I can understand their language a lot better than strangers can, which is helpful because I can both understand their spoken language and their nonverbal communication a lot more easily than strangers can. Usually I sit down. In the past, they tell me that if they communicate with me, I can communicate back normally, but to sit there and to let the test run its course, if they need me to do something, they'll ask. They didn't go through the whole explanation this time. It was a psychologist who was running the retest, and she had done other retests with other kids, so she knew me and knew that I knew the drill, so they didn't go through the whole instructions this time. When we go into the room, there are usually toys that are all over the floor, and they're kind of organized, like there were a bunch of little like beanbag type hacky sacks together. There's a baby doll, there's blocks, there's a dump truck. There are usually some pop-up toys, there's some toys that make noise. There are just a lot of different toys that she might be interested in. And then in the corner on a table, there is usually some sort of like an electronic walking toy that is hidden under a blanket. And there's usually some toy plates with utensils too, somewhere around. Usually there's a chance for the child to play, see how they interact with things. Tessie immediately and repeatedly turned off the sound to the animal toy. There was a toy that made animal sounds or played music. Tessie kept turning the sound off to that toy. Even after, when we were in there waiting for her score, she turned it off over and over again. Every time I was like, look, she can say animal sounds. And so I tried to show it to her, thinking maybe she turned it off accidentally, and she turned it off 3 more times. So she made it really clear that she did not like the animal sounds or the music from that toy. So that one she wasn't a fan of. She did immediately run over and play with the pop-up toy and show that she could basically make it pop up in all the different ways. There was some sort of little like twisty Jack-in-the-Box type toy with a mirror on it. In the past, there has been a short shape sorter in the room. This year there wasn't. In younger modules, before she turned 3, there was a bubble bath toy baby doll. This time it was the birthday baby doll though, but that's for a later part of the ADOS. So basically there's some playing, and then it becomes a little bit more interactive. The person giving the test will call your child's name and see if they look. There's a part of the test usually where they blow bubbles, which for our girls has always been one of the most exciting parts of the test. Both of our girls love bubbles. Tessie said bubbles multiple times during the test, and I had never seen her say bubbles, but she was so excited, and bubbles was one of Maggie's first words too. Tessie kept asking for more bubbles, but then once they gave her the little bubble machine, bubble gun thing, she refused to ask for help. She could make it go by herself, but she couldn't get more bubbles by herself, but she absolutely was not going to ask for more help, which was part of the test. She just wasn't going to do it. She would rather have it and press the button without bubbles and have no more bubbles than she would ask for help. In all the ADOSs we've done, there's also like a toy where there's this little foam rocket that shoots out and goes across the room. That's also usually one of Tessie's favorites. She likes watching it. Usually she likes to try to eat the rocket ship. She has actually almost eaten the rocket ship in the past. She didn't this time, but we were also kind of watching her because we knew that that's one of her favorite things to try to do. She's supposed to ask for help with that one too, but she can actually put the rocket ship back onto the launcher now. She can't launch it without help, but it was another thing she was not going to ask for help. Mostly what Tessie wanted to do was ignore the toys and jump on the chairs. She did look for her name several times this time, which was a first. In the past, she hasn't looked for her name at home. She still doesn't look when I say her name, but I guess at school, if she thinks she's going to get something or get to do something exciting, she looks when people say her name, because she knows usually when someone says her name, it's for her to get to do something fun. And so it's pretty motivating to look. One part of the test is a frog. They'll bring out this little toy frog, and it's like hop, 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 ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. And then they give the frog to the child and ask the child to say like, do this, ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. It's always interesting to see Maggie do it, because Maggie has done the test so many times that Maggie will do everything. Maggie knows what's expected of her, and she basically performs the entire test perfectly. She still scores very high because it's very clear Maggie's performing the test. For anyone new here, Maggie is our 9-year-old who is autistic, who was diagnosed when she was 3. But Tessie took the frog and walked away from the table, which is what she did a lot of the time. She would get a toy and just walk away from the table and go over and play with it on her own. And she was squeezing it and making it beep, but she wouldn't do do the imitation that they wanted her to do. She put a lot of the toys up to her mouth. Instead of doing the birthday party, she grabbed the Play-Doh and grabbed one of the birthday candles, which is like a little stick, and just sat there for a really long time making holes in the Play-Doh until there were holes on both sides of the Play-Doh cake. She grabbed the baby doll at one point and jumped up on a chair and held the baby doll like up like this. And then after the birthday, after the birthday party was over, she grabbed the baby's hat and spun around in circles with the baby, but that was pretty much after the test was over. With the snacks, she grabbed the apple juice and drank the entire thing of apple juice. She got 3 refills, or she got 2 refills. She got 3 cups of apple juice, and she kept bringing it back over to me and drinking it, sitting by me, and then she would go back when she wanted something and stand there and ask for it, make clear what she wanted basically by pointing or grabbing something. She would make it clear that she wanted help because food's pretty motivating. She didn't want the goldfish. She took 2 cookies and then she ran back over next to me. She did check in with me a lot during the test as kind of like the safe little place that she could come back to, which is always good. I mean, that is pretty typical for a kid her age. That is what it is like going to Tessie's ADOS at 3 years old. I took some footage of her playing. She wasn't really into playing. She really wanted to turn off the lights and watch her shoes. She has some flashing shoes on, so that was pretty much the thing she wanted to do. That jump on the couch. She was not interested in the toys in there, which was funny because the day before she had tried to sneak into that room during speech to play with the toys, but this time she was not having it. Anyways, that is it for today. If you like this video, we'd love it if you'd give it a thumbs up, and if you're interested in all things autism, we'd love it if you'd hit subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.